If you are in a relationship and you have goals, make sure to run that past your spouse or your significant other, because when two or three agree or touch hands or what is that scripture, are in the midst, I'm saying it all wrong, but you get what I'm saying, the scripture where, when two or three are gathered in his name, there he is. So if the both of you agree on something and you are going after this thing, and y'all see the same thing, y'all see that it can work, it helps so much. So it helps to get there faster. You will be able to get to where you're going quicker. And I say this because me and my husband, at the time when we were living with his relatives, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and we were living there at his relatives' home, and we both wanted to move out. The thing was that he wanted to hurry up and get out of his relatives' home because he had been living there for quite some time, but he was willing to move in with roommates. Me, on the other hand, I wasn't. I believe that that's what took us so long to get out of his relatives' home. So not only should we agree, we should do our best to agree on the same thing, because if we do that, we could get to where we're going a little bit faster. That's my experience with my partner. It was the same thing with getting a bed. It was one point in time we just did not have a bed. When we got to our place, we slept. Exactly, baby. We slept on the floor after our air mattress went out. So we had an air mattress that lasted for about 8 or 9 months. And then for a year and some change, we slept on the floor. And I was about a month or 2 months pregnant when we eventually got a bed. I personally wanted to get a queen size bed because I knew that we were going to need space. And I had a feeling that our baby was going to be sleeping with us in the bed. My husband was like, we just need to get a bed. And somebody had they gave us a used bed. They were offering a used bed, and I was completely against it for quite some time. But my husband was like, they're giving it to us just for free. I'm like, I don't care about no free bed, not free used bed. I don't care. I'd rather pay for a queen size bed. And so we was going back and forth for a while. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't want to go back and forth anymore. I just don't. So I settled for us getting a full-size bed. Baby came. It's barely enough space for the three of us. And then my husband had expressed, like, yeah, it's like once we got the full-size bed, we didn't even try to go for the queen size. Because I'm like, I did not have the energy to go for it. At a certain point, I'm like, we got a bed. So from my experience, I believe that when there is a couple who are going after, it can literally be the same goal, but I think that when there's specifics and details on it, when we're able to see the same things, that's what we're going to get if we're going after the same thing. Have another example concerning me and my partner, me and my husband. Again, when we were living with his relatives, we needed a car. I had read a book, and it talked about manifesting, how to manifest. And one of the examples in the book was how to manifest a car. So the author goes in about you know, like not worrying about the price, you know, visualize yourself in this car. Think about the dimensions, be very specific with what it is that you're seeing, so that, or what it is that you want, so that when you visualize, you can see it in your visualizations. I went and told my husband this, my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, okay, let's do that. So we did this for a few months. One of the things that I had expressed at the time, I want to say this was about January, when I had read the book and went to my boyfriend at the time about the car in this manner, and he was like, okay, cool. I remember expressing to him that, and this was in Pasadena when I had expressed this to him. We were in Pasadena, and I brought that up because I remembered that we were in Pasadena and recently they had a fire. So it's a bit nostalgic at this point. We were in Pasadena, and I remember telling him that I want to get this car by or before my birthday, which is in April, but no later than June. So I had this in mind. Oh, I'm going to get this before my birthday. Getting this before my birthday. Getting this before my birthday. The day before my birthday, we go to my boyfriend at the time, my husband, his family's function. And we show up. Right, baby. We show up. And we were there for like probably 10, 15 minutes. His cousin's wife had looked at us. I remember us, it was a lot of family members there. His cousin wife looked at us and said, hey, do y'all got a driver's license? We both nodded our head in response, yeah. And then her next question was, do y'all need a car? Me and my husband looked at each other. Then we looked at her and said, yes. And then she said, well, y'all can have my car, my old car. Like, I'm not using it. It's collecting tickets and this, that, and the third. Here you go. What? What? Me and my boyfriend have been visualizing and speaking on this car for months. And it took about 3 months, and it was perfect timing. What happened was that a week before, actually not a week, the day before, we were supposed to go to Knott's Berry Farm with my relatives. It was raining that day, or drizzling that day, and they chose not to go. Me and my boyfriend chose to go because it was for the Boysenberry Festival. We went, and we were so about the food that we passed the photographer. We passed the photographer, both of us on the same accord, on one accord, passed the photographer and was like, no, we good. We going to the lines. We're going to get what we need to get for this Boysenberry Festival. And we tried out the food. We got on one ride and went back home on public transit from wherever Knott's Berry Farm is all the way back to South Central Los Angeles. That is a 2.5 to 3 hour ride on multiple buses and a train. And then the following day, we get that car. So also in that book, the book is called How to Be a God for Beginners. And I had gotten this book from a video that I was watching. And it was 99 cents on Amazon at the time. This was about 2019. I don't know if it's still the same price. So good luck. that one was that example of the car. And I will go into that story about the car and how it was everything matching me. All the signs matched me. I'll go into that on another video. But those are the 3 examples that I personally have when it concerns, having a goal with my significant other. That if we're on one accord in all the details and specificities about it, that we will get what we are going for a bit faster, and both of us would be satisfied, and both of us would be like, all right, yes, we did that. Those other 2, when it came to us moving out and us getting to bed, it was just all right, okay, cool. It took some time for us to get our own home, but we got it. Even though I wanted one type of bed and my husband wanted another, we still got a bed. However, it took some time, and at a certain point it was like, okay, we realized that the 3 of us don't fit on this bed. So we do need a queen size bed. But we nonetheless got a bed. Well, if you have a partner, you have somebody that you're in a relationship with, make sure that you all are on, again, the same accord. All right? It's tough sometimes. It can be tough. But make sure that y'all are on the same accord. Because whatever it is that you're going for, you will get it faster. And if y'all are on the same accord, you will be able to get what it is that you need and be effective with it. All right. So I hope this helps y'all. And yeah.